Hi everyone, so today we're going to be running through a 2020 election prediction between Donald J. Trump and Elizabeth Warren. So, as you probably know, if I can find it on my thing, Elizabeth Warren has been pretty much climbing in many polls. Right now, I mean, yes, she was at 11%, but she was plateauing quite a bit, and then now she has jumped up quite a bit. That graph doesn't necessarily show it the best, but yes, she has been increasing by quite a lot. If we can find Elizabeth Warren here, here we go. Elizabeth Warren, most extensive preparations. Yes, the Native American did cause some concerns, but she has been rolling out policy after policy. I think that's definitely going to help her in a Democratic primary. She's rolling out far more policies than any other Democratic candidate. Whoopsie daisy, there we go. So yes, so let's go through this. So Washington, obviously not going to go Republican. Alaska, Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, most of Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Indiana. And I'm actually going to move Texas also in that likely Republican column for Donald Trump. So 163 electoral votes for Donald Trump. Washington, Oregon, California, Hawaii, all say for Elizabeth Warren. New Mexico, Illinois, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, the District of Columbia, New York, New Hampshire. I would move into the likely column because Elizabeth Warren is from Massachusetts, and most of Maine. So those are all of the states that I see as likely or safe for the Massachusetts senator. So let's run through the rest of this since I need to go very soon. As for Donald Trump, I believe that he could hang on to Arizona. I don't think it would be too difficult for him to do, but I think he would face quite a challenge from Warren, not necessarily the hardest challenge out of the prospective Democratic 2020 candidates. But Arizona, I believe, would narrowly move into the president's column. The state of Georgia also narrowly moving into the president's column. Again, I don't think Elizabeth Warren is the right sort of candidate to be reaching out to those African American voters. She needs to turn out. No doubt, she will win African American voters in big numbers, massive numbers. But it's whether they turn out. That's the different question. Whether they're excited to vote for someone like an Elizabeth Warren. So 190 electoral votes for Donald Trump, 194 for Elizabeth Warren. The Republicans, I really see them taking the state of Florida and the state of North Carolina. Now, the thing with both of those states is that both of those states went Republican in the midterms. I mean, North Carolina didn't have a state election. However, their congressional districts went towards the Republicans. In the state of Florida, Republicans surprisingly won both major statewide races, with Rick Scott in the Senate race and what's his name, Ron DeSantis in the governor's race. So I see Republicans taking Florida and North Carolina. As for the Republicans, I also see them taking the 2nd district in the state of Maine. I think Elizabeth Warren could appeal to them, but I don't think it would be enough to get her over the line in Maine. Now, as for the Democrats, I see them taking the state of Colorado and Nevada. Even though Elizabeth Warren might not be necessarily the person to appeal to, her powerhouse is the Rust Belt, economic Wall Street issues, rather than more race-related issues out in the West. But I still think that that Elizabeth Warren would be able to win in both Nevada and Colorado. As for the Republicans, I mean, I don't think it's any stretch of the imagination that they will win that 2nd district of Nebraska. There was a progressive there in Kara Eastman. She lost during the 2018 midterms. So I see Elizabeth Warren, same as Kara Eastman, going down there to Donald Trump. So, we have one more state that we need to fill in before we get into the Rust Belt, the state of Virginia. This one, people sometimes say that, it could get close because of what was going on with the governors there. It's interesting how that has sort of faded out. But there seems to be a new strategy among people from both sides of the aisle. When they're in a scandal, they'll just hang on until the media kind of stops covering the scandal, and then they'll be able to go on with their job instead of resigning. And I think, honestly, Ralph Northam should have resigned there, as well as the what's his name down in North Carolina, the guy who rigged the House election. I think he should have resigned. So, but even then, they just kind of hang on until the media doesn't cover the story, and then they continue, which I think is a very sad thing. Now, Minnesota, Iowa, Ohio. These states I see, not Iowa, sorry, not that, hang on, sorry, just Minnesota I see moving into the Democratic column, but I don't think it'll be enough for Iowa and Ohio, because Iowa and Ohio are much more Republican than the state of Minnesota. So I believe Elizabeth Warren carrying Minnesota, falling short in Iowa and Ohio. That's it. Elizabeth Warren, I believe, would win in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. With her Rust Belt message, I believe it could narrowly carry her to victory. I believe it would be very close, though, because I think that, Donald Trump can have a home about the Native American stuff, but I believe Elizabeth Warren could really do well in the Rust Belt with her powerful, progressive economic message, and I believe it would be enough to carry her to victory. That's it for today's video, guys. Thank you for watching this video. Comment down your suggestions below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.